Hi families, it's Miss Jamie here. I just wanted to make a quick video to explain Naidoc Week to all of our parents and our families. Naidoc Week is something that we're going to be teaching the children over the course of this week, and we're going to be learning heaps about Indigenous culture, the land that our centre is on and that most of our families are from. We're going to be learning some music, some songs, some dancing, some traditional instruments, and it's going to be really great. So I just wanted to enlighten all of our families about what Naidoc Week is and some important things that you need to know about Indigenous Australia. So before I start, I just wanted to acknowledge and thank the traditional owners of the land which Flourish is on, which I'm making this video right now, and that is the people of the Eora Nation, specifically the Bedegal people, which inhabited what is now Hurstville. So what is Naidoc Week? Naidoc Week is all about celebrating the beautiful and fantastic culture that Australia has. We are lucky enough in this country to have an Indigenous culture which is the oldest continuing group of people on earth. The Indigenous Australians have been here for over 60,000 years. So that is 60,000 years of culture and food and music and storytelling that we are lucky enough to be able to call our culture, which is amazing. So that's what Naidoc Week really is about every year, is just celebrating those things, bringing awareness to those things. So this year's theme of Naidoc Week is always was, always will be. So that refers to the land which Australia lives on, always was and always will be Indigenous land. Nothing will ever change that. But something that we need to work on is our awareness and improving our relationship with the Indigenous peoples of this country and supporting them in letting them know that this is their land. You know, this is where they came from. It's all theirs. So it's really easy for families to get involved with Naidoc Week. You know, it's all about educating yourself first and foremost and educating your children. So quickly, I just wanted to explain something really simple, and the most basic thing that you can do for Naidoc Week is educate yourself on whose land you're on. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, Hurstville is actually on Eora Nation land. So in the Greater Sydney region, we actually have 4 Indigenous nations, if you will. So the Eora Nation is the Sydney Basin, eastern suburbs, all the way down into Penshurst and Hurstville. And then we have the Darawal Nation in the Sutherland Shire, all the way stretches down into the Illawarra. And then out west, we have the Darug people in Penrith, Camden, down that way, and then to the north we have the Ku-ring-gai nation. So that is basically North Sydney, Hornsby, all the way to the Central Coast. So those 4 nations make up the Sydney region. Most of those 4 nations spoke the Darug language, but there are a few differences, I suppose. Something else that's really important to note as well is that when colonisation first happened, there were over 750 dialects spoken within Australia, and now there are only 250. I think that's something that is really important to think about when we're thinking about the impact that colonisation had on these Indigenous tribes, and another reason why Naidoc Week is so important, and it's so important to educate yourselves, educate your children, educate your family, just bringing awareness so that we don't lose any more of this incredible cultural thing that we have going here in Australia. So something else that we can do in celebration for Naidoc Week, and something that we're going to be doing with your children, is listening to a lot of Indigenous music, and just educating yourself on what that sounds like to people, supporting Indigenous musicians, supporting Indigenous artists. There's plenty of websites that you can make purchases on. There's also some resources that I might put down in the bio if you'd like to do some extra reading about Indigenous things and more of what I'm saying here. But that's really what we aim to do for Naidoc Day, Naidoc Week, is just really immerse ourselves in the beautiful culture that we have in Australia and support those people, and most importantly, close the gap of the life expectancy difference that we have here in Australia. Indigenous peoples are expected to live for at least 10 years less than non-Indigenous peoples, which is something that I remember hearing as a 15-year-old in high school, and I was absolutely appalled by that. And that's something that's made me want to make a change. I've taken it upon myself to look into, be aware of those things, and that's what I'm hoping that this video will share all with you, make you a bit more aware of whose land you're on, maybe spark some curiosity about looking further into it. And yeah, if any of our families have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer. Just come into the centre, say hello. I would be so pleased to talk to any of our families. And happy Naidoc Week, everyone. Thank you.